Hey, Arman here, and in this video I want to talk about the dangers of insulin resistance. This is becoming, well, it's been a huge problem. It's just now people are starting to realize what's involved, but it is a massive problem in our society. And that's because of the excessive amount of carbohydrates and sugars, especially from processed food, that's generating these issues. And people aren't aware of it at all. And the other thing is, insulin resistance happen way before it can show up from having elevated glucose readings and then checking your A1C to see what your 3-month average is of your sugars. This can happen way before that, and so that's what people really need to start paying attention to what they're doing with their nutrition and understanding how insulin works and how it affects their health, how it affects body fat levels, and how it affects their energy. All right, so with insulin resistance, what they're finding now, which is why it's so common, is it creates type 2 diabetes. And, all you have is all these pharmaceutical companies just want to come up with some kind of a quick fix to control the insulin, but that doesn't solve the problem because you got to keep taking this medication, which they all have side effects, whether people want to recognize it or not. You get diarrhea, you get upset stomach, there's all kinds of things that happen from having type 2 diabetes and you're just taking medications. So the cure is to reduce your carbohydrate intake, get your insulin down for a period of time so you get the sensitivity can come back. And it's not that complicated. So food is either your medicine or it's going to be your poison. And right now it's a lot of poison, so it's unfortunate. But that's one issue. The other is they found that it does lead to cardiovascular disease. And this is most likely the bigger problem than cholesterol, which is all the rage, managing your cholesterol. There's a lot of hot debate on the cholesterol, and there's some effect to it, but at the end of the day, this seems to be a bigger player than just cholesterol because it affects everything along with the cholesterol. So what you're going to have is it can lead to high blood pressure, it can lead to elevated cholesterol levels or the wrong type of cholesterol, and this all happens because of inflammation. Inflammation is swelling of the body, and when things swell up, the blood flow doesn't flow as well, so things are getting stuck. So that's why you want to keep inflammation down, and it also makes you feel better. So that's a key ingredient to it. So then it's going to obviously cause obesity because when you can't process the carbohydrates and the sugars that are coming in the system and put them in the muscles and the liver because they're already full, you're gonna have to store it somewhere. You're not gonna excrete so much. So that's gonna push it right to the fat cells. And this is why people get enormously huge from eating carbohydrates because of the expansion of the fat cells and what's going on with that. So you need to really pay attention to your insulin levels, manage your insulin and being smart about your food intake. So another thing they found is this also is the biggest cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So this is something that's really not good for you because your liver is having to deal with it because of the excessive amount of trying to process these carbohydrates and sugars that are coming into it, and the liver's got to figure out something to do with it, and so that's one of the side effects of that. Then it can also lead to sleep apnea, which is not good. So sleep apnea, you're gonna deal with improper sleep. It's going to affect your hormones. You don't get good sleep. So this is just totally bad news, but it's amazing how this one particular function of insulin can do all this. And you don't even hardly hear anything about it. It's like insulin's not really a problem. It's all about counting the calories. So people need to wake up on this. And then with that, it's showing cognitive decline because of the inflammation, and you don't get the ketones to the brain because they're constantly feeding off of the quick fix of the energies and the sugars, or the sugars and the carbohydrates, and that's not a good long-term strategy because you have to have some ketones for the brain to function properly. So that's another key element to it. So with that being said, you need to pay attention to how you do your carb intake, and this is one of the reasons why you can go low carb, obviously, and that's going to help you. But also, if you want to get the best of both worlds, that's why I recommend the carb cycling strategy, because you go low carb for a period of time. And then we're going to bring in some carbs to reload the muscles and liver appropriately, but then keep insulin down a lot longer. And this will improve your sensitivity and all this is going to do is improve your health long term. So I just want to kind of mention these dangers that people aren't aware of, and you need to really pay attention to that. You know, fats are a good thing. So, but if you mix too much fat with too many carbohydrates and sugars, it's bad. So, and there's plenty of evidence to see that. Just look around in society and you'll see it. So I just want to kind of highlight the dangers of insulin resistance, something you need to be working on and paying attention to if you want to live longer, get more out of life, and have really good energy. All right, thanks for listening. Hope you have a good day.